back to another video on Maanav Sports Talk. So let's get right into my week 11 predictions. We're already at week 11, almost there to Thanksgiving. Should be great on Thanksgiving as well. That's week 12. But week 11's got some really, really good games, including a matchup of last year's playoff, the Titans versus Ravens, and a great primetime matchups like the Cardinals taking on the Seahawks, the Rams taking on the Buccaneers, and the Chiefs taking on the Raiders. So let's get right into these awesome games. So let's first of all take a look at my record. For my predictions, I've done pretty well, I think. 74 right, 28 wrong, and only one tie. And last week I was 9-5, but not one of my best weeks, but still pretty decent. Anyway, let's jump right into the first game. It's going to be the 12 o'clock. It's going to be the Thursday night game. The Arizona Cardinals taking on the Seattle Seahawks at Seattle, but as we all know, the home field doesn't really matter this year, but it's going to be a tremendous game on TNF. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, just like that first game. I think it's going to be really high scoring, in fact. Both offenses are very high powered, great quarterbacks, mobile quarterbacks, got some great receivers, and some great running backs as well. And it's going to be highlighted by both the quarterbacks, Kyler Murray taking on Russell Wilson, both in the MVP race, I think. And the Cardinals have been really tremendous this year, really outperforming what many people thought they would be. And the Seahawks also outperforming a little bit with Russell Wilson cooking. So I think it's going to be high scoring, but I think it's going to be very close, like the last time. And, I think Wilson will put up a good performance. Russ will have a good bounce back game, but he may have a turnover put in there. And Kyler Murray, look for him to use his legs quite a bit. They may not be as successful. His arm will probably be more successful this week. And those wide receivers of the Cardinals, one of the best top three you'll see, DeAndre Hopkins, of course you all know D-Hop, and then Christian Kirk, and then none other than the legend himself, Larry Fitzgerald. So a key for this game, I think it's going to be Christian Kirk offensively for the Cardinals. They're going to try and stop D-Hop, and you're looking at Christian Kirk as their second wide receiver. I think he's going to be really important here against a weak Seahawks secondary. But I do think the Cardinals score a lot of points here, looking upwards into the 40s. And the Seahawks I think they'll try and make a comeback to make it close, but I don't know if it will be enough. Here's my score prediction for the Cardinals taking on the Seahawks on Thursday night, Battle of the Birds for in the NFC West. Got the Cardinals scoring 42 points, the Seahawks 37, coming up short in a very high-scoring game on Thursday Night Football. I'm looking at the Cardinals' offense being very powerful in this game, scoring a lot of points. And the Seahawks, their offense is pretty good too, so they'll obviously, with Russell cooking, they'll put a lot of points up. But the Cardinals' defense is slightly better than the Seahawks' defense, so you'd expect them to get maybe like more stops than the Seahawks defense. We saw that in the first game between these two teams. It will be a close game throughout, so be prepared. So 12 o'clock on CBS, we got the Tennessee Titans taking on the Baltimore Ravens in last year's rematch of the AFC Divisional Round playoff, where the Titans stunned the number 1 seed Baltimore Ravens, with Derrick Henry rushing over for 200 yards, including a jump pass touchdown. So we're gonna come right into this, this rematch from last year. It's gonna be a really good game because both teams are still pretty good. The Titans coming off a pretty upsetting loss against the Colts at home on Thursday night will look to bounce back against these Ravens. It's going to be tough for the Titans to try and beat the Ravens, but the Titans, I think they're a good, solid team, well-coached team, and the Ravens, they're just not as good as last year, honestly. I think their defense might be better, especially that pass rush. Now, if the pass rush of the Ravens can get to Ryan Tannehill when he passes, they could be some successful gains there. But the main focus here is for the Ravens to try and stop Derrick Henry, who I think they will not be able to stop this week, just like in the playoff game. The Ravens defense, what happened to them last week? They couldn't stop the run at all. It was pretty bad defensively for them to stop the run. They might get some of their players back, but Derrick Henry's another monster altogether. You can't just stop him, even when you get some of your best players back. It's going to be difficult to stop King Henry. I think he might have a good game. The tight end, Jonnu Smith, should be impactful here because the Ravens secondary is very good. They may be able to shut down A.J. Brown and such. So Jonnu Smith, watch out for him in this game. For the Ravens, it's all about Lamar Jackson, whether he'll be able to do enough to win this game with his arm as well as his legs, in this game. But I think the Titans possess, a really great team. Although the Ravens defense is slightly better, I think I trust the Titans more. They generally have a feeling of more trust with them. Now at 12 o'clock on CBS, you got a rematch of the playoff from last year, Titans-Ravens. Ravens 20, Titans 30. I think Derrick Henry's going to have a great game, and the Titans should be able to roll because of that. I've been talking about Jonnu Smith possibly having a big game here, and Tannehill shouldn't make any turnovers to capitalize for the Ravens. And that Lamar Jackson is unable to, do enough passing-wise for them to consistently be close in this game and to make it really interesting. It will be close early, but the Titans pull away with some long drives with Derrick Henry. So next up at the 3:25 game slot, we got the Green Bay Packers taking on the Indianapolis Colts. I think this game is going to be very, very close, low scoring, should be interesting to watch. If you don't believe in the Colts, well, you should have already, because they just beat the Titans on Thursday Night Football. I don't know how else you can really think the Colts aren't real. If you don't think they're real, then we can't change that, unfortunately. But the Colts, their defense is great. The matchup is all about Aaron Rodgers and that powerful offense of the Packers. With Aaron Rodgers, Aaron Jones, Devontae Adams, those beasts out there. How can the Colts defense, very well coached defense, how can they stop these guys? The Packers have a tendency to just not perform against these really good defenses. I think this might be another game where let's say the Packers might have laid an egg, so-called, but it might be low scoring. The Colts offense, they need to take advantage of a weak Packers defense. Phillip Rivers has to dice them up. He has to target his guys that he likes. Michael Pittman Jr. is a big example of this, because you're looking at Jair Alexander possibly locking up T.Y. Hilton. So Michael Pittman and then the running back of Naheem Hines is really incredible, both catching-wise and running the football. So the Colts generally possess advantages in both sides of the football, honestly, in this game, because I think their Colts defense is very stingy. They're not going to allow plays like Aaron Rodgers does. I don't think they're going to jump, that Aaron Rodgers tries and makes them jump offside. It's not going to work against the Colts, I think. So you're looking at a low-scoring game. Maybe, it doesn't work for the Pack this week. Maybe it just doesn't work out for their offense. But if they really want to play well offensively, they need to run the ball, especially with Aaron Jones, who didn't really do that much last week. But the Colts, it has to be Phillip Rivers taking care of the ball, and for the Packers, Aaron Jones. So again, at 3:25 on Fox, so-called America's Game of the Week, the Green Bay Packers taking on the Indianapolis Colts. Should be a great game. A little bit lower scoring. Colts 27, Packers 21. Packers only scored 3 touchdowns. They've been by far one of the best offenses this year, but they're not going to show up that well against the number 1 Colts defense, who I think can shut down this Packers offense enough. We've seen the Packers offense struggle against these high-profile defense, most notably the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, who they only put up 10 points against. And the Packers defense is not too good. I think Phillip Rivers will have another great game, and maybe not T.Y. Hilton, but look for some of the other wide receivers like Michael Pittman Jr. to get involved. And obviously with their running game, with Naheem Hines should be a big threat. And I think the Colts get another huge upset win. So here we are at the Sunday night football matchup. The Kansas City Chiefs, the defending Super Bowl champs, gotta put that in there every time, taking on those Oakland Raiders. The Raiders, that's how they call it on their radio guy. I don't know why he does it, but whatever, he does it. The Oakland Raiders, they're taking on those KC Chiefs, the team that is kind of impossible to stop, honestly. But those Raiders did it last time. Josh Jacobs is a huge part of that. Their, powerful back runs pretty much every down. He's a very strong back, up, vertical back, doesn't go side to side. He goes straight up and down the field, okay? Goes straight, not trying to do anything too fancy, likes to truck people, stuff like that. And the Raiders, they are a team that can beat the Chiefs like we saw earlier with their style of offense that takes lots and lots of time off the clock. If you're going to beat the Chiefs, you have to take time off the clock, which is the key. You don't want that ball going to Patrick Mahomes at all. You want to chew as much clock as you can. And the Raiders are suited to that with the game manager quarterback, Derek Carr, who has played extremely well. And Josh Jacobs, obviously. And then you're looking at their one of the best tight ends in the league, Darren Waller. And then a speedster, Henry Ruggs, who had a big impact. You're looking for Henry Ruggs to take the top off the defense here. And then Josh Jacobs, obviously, trying to run the ball successfully on first down. Get the play action to Darren Waller and such. So, for the Chiefs, they'll just be looking to come back against their fierce rival. After that bad loss at home, they'll be just looking to stomp on their foot there at Allegiant Stadium. So, it's very interesting to see how the Raiders will try and stop Patrick Mahomes. I don't know how you can do it, honestly. But if the Raiders take time off the clock, they can actually beat the Chiefs. But it's always hard playing the Chiefs with Mahomes, You can't really predict against them. Sunday Night Football, AFC West, fierce rivalry, Raiders-Chiefs. Chiefs 31, Raiders 28. Very close game. It's going to be a nail-biter finish. I think I'm going to go ahead and think that it will be a Patrick Mahomes drive to win it on a game-winning field goal by Harrison Butker. Should be a great game. Don't think it won't be, because the Raiders are definitely going to put up a big fight against the Chiefs. They were able to do it last time. We'll see if their defense is still able to hold Patrick Mahomes relatively in check. And Josh Jacobs going against the weak Chiefs running defense, maybe he has a big game. If he has a big game, those Raiders are might steal the win again, so to say. But I think it should be a great game on Sunday night, and should live up to the hype. And it will be a matter of who is more tougher in this game, and I think the Chiefs get a win here to tie up the series. So the last game of Week 11, Monday Night Football at Tampa Bay. The Los Angeles Rams taking on the Tampa Bay Bucks. At Tampa on Monday night should be a great Monday night game. We haven't really seen two great Monday night games, with great teams. This is a chance to see it. Buccaneers, really good. They're pretty good. Can they beat the great teams? We shall see. And the Rams, can they beat the great teams? We shall see. So, both teams, pretty good records, 3 losses apiece. The Bucks demolished the Panthers, 46 points on that board. Pretty insane. That Ronald Jones 98-yarder you already know about. Tom Brady, though, 340 yards, 4 touchdowns, 1 rushing. It's incredible. This dude just keeps performing, even when he's so old, honestly. Father Time is against him. He just keeps performing. It's crazy, really. The Buccaneers, they're a great team. We haven't seen them beat any great teams besides the Packers, who they absolutely destroyed. That may be an outlier, but they are a really good team, both sides of the ball. A really strong defense and a really powerful offense when it gets going. And you're looking at this team, trying to get together. They're building chemistry as they go along. Antonio Brown recently. Tom Brady just signed this year, and they're trying to figure out the running back situation and who should get more snaps at wide receiver. So, you'll see it come together later on in Tampa Bay, and you'll see them put up a lot of points on that board. For the Rams, their defense has been outstanding, one of the best this year. By far, the best secondary in the league with Jalen Ramsey, who's an absolute lockdown corner. And then overall, their secondary is very solid. And then also the fact that, their offense is, pretty solid at times. That play action game is very impressive for the Rams. That's how their whole offense works. And we'll see if it works against the speedy linebackers of the Buccaneers. Not sure it will, because they'll be able to stop, that play action game, getting to the flats and stopping them. So, play action game may not work. Whether they can run the ball or not will really dictate whether they can win this game. Running the ball against the Buccaneers is a tough task, so we'll have to see if that works out. Offensively, for the Buccaneers, Tom Brady has to find a way to beat the secondary. He definitely can. We know that. Can he beat the secondary? He has a lot of wide receivers. They're plethora of wide receivers. Antonio Brown, Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Scotty Miller. They have to generate some sort of separation, and it's going to be tough. But if there's anybody who can do it, it's Tom Brady. So we'll have to see if he can figure out this Rams secondary. A matchup of Tom Brady's offense versus the Los Angeles Rams' stingy pass defense. Bucks 18, Rams 21 in a relatively low-scoring game. I think the Rams get an upset here in Tampa with their defense stifling Tom Brady's offense. The only way that the offense will be able to go for the Buccaneers is really through their ground game with Ronald Jones and Leonard Fournette. Passing-wise, you're looking at a complete shutdown of some of the best guys on their team, like Mike Evans and such. So Tom Brady may not have the best time. You're looking at Aaron Donald also getting a couple of sacks on Brady. And I think the Rams make another statement here, letting know to everybody else that their defense is for real and their offense can do just enough to support that. So here are all the other games for Week 11. You can go ahead and pause your screen here to take a look at all of my score predictions here. We've come to the end of the video. If you made it this far and you enjoyed it, please go down, hit the like button to support my channel. I just reached 170 subscribers. Go down, add to that total, hit the subscribe button as well for your weekly NFL content, updates, power rankings, predictions, commentary. All that you need for the NFL is right here on this channel. So please consider subscribing to my channel. And I'll see you in the next NFL video on Thanksgiving.